So if you've watched my channel, you know that I love the city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I love the beaches, the boats, the lifestyle, and personally, I just think it's one of the best places to live in all of South Florida. But I also feel like we've barely touched on some of those more desirable, smaller towns in the area. We recently just helped one of our clients relocate to Parkland, which is one of those lesser known towns in the Fort Lauderdale metro area. And while this town has some pretty unique features that you don't really see anywhere else, there's a lot of things that make people very passionate about living here. So let's talk real estate, neighborhoods, lifestyle, and dive into everything that you need to know about living in Parkland, Florida. All right, so I know it looks sunny right now, but in typical Florida fashion, it just rained, so we're gonna wait a little bit to get out of the car. But while we're here, let's talk about where Parkland is on the map. So Parkland is located in the farthest northwest corner of Broward County, which is the Fort Lauderdale metro area. It's about 13 square miles, so not that big, just under 35,000 people. Now, if we take a look at the borders of the town, you can see on the south side, that line right there, that's the Sawgrass Expressway and Coral Springs to the south. On the east side, you have 441 and then Coconut Creek. And then on the north side, you have Loxahatchee Road, and north of that is West Boca. And then to the west is the Everglades. So if you zoom out, you can see it in relation to Fort Lauderdale and Miami. It's kind of out there. And as far as proximity goes, like I said, you're kind of out there, but still within a good driving distance to everything. And one pro is that you're very close to the highway. So that highway right there is the Sawgrass Expressway. You can see that it runs east and west. It'll take you to I-95 and the Turnpike. And then right in the corner here, you can see that it bends. So it also goes south. Now, as far as drive times, traffic may make a difference, but you're about 40 to 45 minutes to Fort Lauderdale and the airport, about 20 to 30 minutes from downtown Boca and the Boca Town Center Mall. You're about 10 to 15 minutes from the Promenade Mall in Coconut Creek, where there's a casino over there. 20 to 30 minutes to the Sawgrass Outlet Mall and the American Bank Arena, and about 30 minutes or less to Deerfield Beach. So this is one of those highlights about living here, is that you're far away, you're out of the madness, but you're still only 30 minutes from a beach. That's kind of hard to come by. So you might be wondering why I'm standing at a commercial shopping plaza. Well, there's not that many of them here. Parkland is actually one of the newer towns in South Florida. It was only incorporated in 1963, but the first neighborhoods weren't actually built until the late 90s, early 2000s. Crazy fact, Parkland didn't even have its first stoplight until those first neighborhoods were built. So no stoplights until pretty much Y2K. And as far as the layout of the town, it's mostly residential, single-family homes. The shopping plazas are all on the outskirts. And the town has really strict zoning laws that actually protect that park-like feel, hence the name Parkland. So when you're driving around, you don't really see a whole lot except for trees and open space. But when it does come to shopping, you have your staples here. You have two public stores, you have a BJ's, there's a Walmart right on the border in Coral Springs, and there's only a handful of restaurants here. So when you're looking to get out and do some shopping or maybe some dining, other than the few options that are here in town, you're most likely gonna have to leave Parkland. So I'm here at Pine Trails Park, which is the biggest park in town, and it's basically your sportsplex. It's got multi-purpose fields, baseball, football, basketball, pavilions, fishing. It's got this really cool amphitheater. Let me see if I could flip this thing around so I could show you. I'm standing in it right now. They hold free concerts here every month. But this is just one of 9 parks in Parkland. So there's a couple smaller ones, like Liberty Park, which has the splash pad for the kids. There's Barkland Dog Park. There's the Covered Bridge Park, which is where I was at in the beginning. And then there is the Arthur R. Marshall Loxahatchee National Wildlife Reserve. Try to say that 3 times fast. And that's just basically when you want to disconnect. It's out in the Everglades and it's massive. It's over 144,000 square feet. It stretches all the way up to Loxahatchee, the town, and there's actually entrances into the park up in Loxahatchee, Boynton Beach, and then down here in Parkland. So why do people choose to live in Parkland, this seemingly sleepy town that's so far away from everything? Well, I spoke with some past clients and some residents, and aside from the natural beauty, the 9 parks, the privacy, the beautiful homes, the top reason that pretty much everybody said was the schools, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But Parkland was also ranked very highly on multiple categories on niche.com, not per me, not per the residents, or maybe per the residents if they voted. And one of our past clients who lives here described it as a very family-oriented place. And he did want to emphasize that while the town does seem sleepy, it's a pretty active town. There's a lot going on. You'll see kids riding their bikes, which you don't see anymore. You see a lot of people outside. People are very friendly. They say hello to you. And on top of that, they're big on events. If you go to Parkland's website, they have a monthly calendar of free events that are perfect for the family. And one of the biggest ones is actually the Parkland Farmers Market, which is held at the Equestrian Center. It's held during the winter months, November through April. I believe the first day this year is actually the day this video is going to be released, so I may have to check that out. But aside from all that, it's just very peaceful, very quiet, no congestion, no transient people except for me right now. And that's the beauty of what people love about this town. You kind of just feel like you have it all to yourself. And hey, just a quick reminder, if you like the content we're putting out, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I think you'll like the video we have coming out next week. All right, so before we get into the real estate, I want to touch on schools. So I mentioned that that's probably the top reason why most people choose to live in Parkland. It's not only because it's the highest, some of the highest rated schools in all of South Florida for their children, but it's also resale value too. So there's a total of 5 public schools in the town, 3 elementary, which is Heron Heights, Park Trails, and Riverglades, 1 middle, which is West Glades, and 1 high school, which is Marjorie Stone and Douglas, which many of you may have heard about because of that tragedy that took place back in 2018. I don't want to just gloss over the fact that that did happen here and it was terrible. But the people of Parkland are strong, they're resilient, and they handled it and continue to handle it very well. Now remember, I am a licensed realtor, so I can't legally tell you which schools are good and which schools aren't. Also, it wouldn't be fair because depending on what you're looking for, a school that isn't rated as high may be a better option for you. But what I can do is recommend you check out greatschools.org, read the reviews from people who have gone there or sent their kids there. And remember, depending on what neighborhood you choose to live in, you'll be zoned for a certain school anyway. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk real estate and neighborhoods. Parkland is very exclusive in the sense that just about every neighborhood here is gated, has a homeowners association, aside from the unincorporated section, but there's well over 40 communities here. I don't know the exact number, and 10,000, well over 10,000 homes. And the first development was built in 1985. It's called Cypress Head. It wasn't called that back then. I'm not sure what it was called. If I figure it out, I'll put the name on the screen. But you're really not going to find any housing much older than that. If you go to the unincorporated side, you'll find some homes built between the mid 60s, but a majority of the homes built here in Parkland were built in the late 90s, early 2000s. And just to kind of give you an example, there's currently 166 homes for sale in Parkland, and 130 of them were built after 2000. And across the town, there's an average sales price of about 1.3 million. But you'll find homes here for as high as 10 million and as low as 700,000. So the boom here really started in the late 90s with Heron Bay, which is still one of the most sought after communities. There's over 2,000 homes, and it's not only single family, but you have some condos and townhomes in there as well. And you'll see a mixture of different styles, but a big focus on Mediterranean just because of the era that the homes were built. It has amazing amenities, and one thing that people really love about it is the maturity. And not to mention that Heron Bay is just one big community, and then there's dozens of little subdivisions within the neighborhood. Another popular place here in Parkland is Parkland Golf and Country Club, or PGCC for short. Now these homes were first built in about 2003. Some of them were built in about 2003 until Toll Brothers took it over in 2010, and then a majority of them were built after that. And homes in here range from just average single family homes to estates on an 18-hole championship golf course designed by Greg Norman. And the amenities here are endless. I mean, it is a country club. This is also the only golf course in the entire city of Parkland, but there are 99 courses within 20 miles. And the great thing about this is you don't have to buy into a membership at the at the golf course in order to live in that community. And that's pretty rare, because if you go to a town like Boca, you most likely will have to buy in to the membership in order to live in that community. And that can cost you $100,000 just on top of your association fees. Now, one of the newer neighborhoods in Parkland where I'm standing right now that we just helped our client move into is Cascada. And this one was built between 2018 and 2022, so it's newer construction. And one major difference that you'll notice between a neighborhood like this and Heron Bay is the maturity. I mean, it is newer. The landscaping is just not mature yet, so it kind of looks bare bones in some parts, but give it some time and it'll look just like the rest of them. But one of the best things about this neighborhood is the amenities. Cascada is part of Mar-a-Lago, which is a neighboring community, so you not only get access to the Cascada amenities, which are incredible. I mean, look at that basketball court. But you can take a little walk through an underground tunnel, and you also have access to the amenities at Mar-a-Lago, which are also incredible. And so this has been one of the more popular neighborhoods in Parkland for somebody who wants newer construction. Now, as far as new development is concerned, Lennar just bought 75 acres right off Loxahatchee Road, not far from where we are right now, and they plan to build about 200 homes. They're calling it Parkland Royale, and there's a site plan which doesn't show a whole lot just yet. Toll Brothers also plans to build about 52 homes in a new planned community within Heron Bay. But as of right now, there's not a ton of info on these new developments, so if you want to stay up to date, I suggest you subscribe to our weekly newsletter that we put out information about everything going on in South Florida. You can find the link to that in the description. And if you're thinking, hey, Parkland sounds like a great place, or maybe I want to explore some other options, or maybe I want to sell a home and go somewhere else, my team would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So I hope you got value from this video. We'd love to connect with you, whether you're planning on buying or selling in 10 days or 10 years. We want to hear from you, so feel free to reach out to us at any time. Go to the link in my description or shoot us a text and an email, and we're happy to help you. Also, let us know in the comments what you think about Parkland. We always love to hear your feedback. And if you currently live here, let us know what you love or hate about it. Until then, see you next time.